What's up, guys? This is Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and this video is about the new piece of equipment I bought for our farm. So I may have tricked you just a little bit with the name of this video. You know, are we going off grid? Should the Arms Family go off grid? No, we're not going off grid. But here's the thing. With that piece of equipment right there, we very well could be off grid for several days at a time if need be. So let me explain that just a little bit. So for the last several years, I've been looking for a really good welder. And I'm not going to say looking. I've been debating on buying a good gasoline powered welder. So my barn back there in the background, you can see that. I built that myself. It was a weld up steel frame building. But I kind of had some help and had to borrow welders and things like that. And I grew up with a dad who built fence for a living, built really nice fancy pipe entryways into people's properties and gates and fences and all kinds of stuff. We welded all the time. And we always had a really nice welder here that was also a generator. So I've been looking for one for myself because I haven't had one in several years. And aside from all the farm projects like, you know, building fence, building gates, barns, sheds, you know, chicken tractors, coops, everything that you can do with a welder and cutting torch, because I also got a cutting torch. This welding machine here is it's a Lincoln Ranger 225. So it's a welding machine, but it's also a generator, and a 10,000 watt generator at that. Now, that generator right there on that welder might not pull the full load of my house when you take into consideration electric water heaters, electric central heat and air, you know, things like that. But my ultimate goal down the road is to hire an electrician to come in and help me get everything everything set up on my house to where I can pull a main breaker and shut my power off to the power company, and then have a plug in so I can plug my generator into that. You know, we may not be able to run a hot water heater and central heat and air all the time, but it'll keep our freezers cold. It'll keep, you know, some lights on, maybe a TV, things like that. Because here in Oklahoma, we don't have a lot of snowstorms by any means. I mean, look at it, it's March and we're at like 70 degrees. Well, no, it's about 60 degrees out here today. And but we do have ice storms. So there have been multiple times we've gone without power for several days here in Oklahoma. So maybe 8-10 years ago we had one where this house, I mean, you can see by my driveway, that's why I put that long intro in this video. We live a long ways off of the main road, and there's lots of trees around those power lines. And Oklahoma does have a problem with ice storms. Like 8 or 10 years ago we had an ice storm where our house was without power for almost 2 weeks. Well, the problem we run into there, my bad. Let's try this again. Battery went dead, had to change batteries. So, forgot where I was at, but we'll try to pick up from there. With the ice storms, we were without power for 8 to 10 days. So we are pretty fortunate. We have a wood stove in our house, so we can still heat the house. We really don't use the central heat a whole lot when it's really cold anyway, so we'll be okay without that with the wood stove, and then we can still cook and things like that on the wood stove as we need to. But this will allow us to save our food that's in our refrigerators and our freezers, things like that. So no, we're not necessarily going to go off grid with the use of a welder, a Lincoln, you know, 10,000 watt generator / welder, but we can for short amounts of time. So the main thing is though, like hooking this into my house, I am going to contact an electrician and do it right, because I know a lot of guys will just go out there and get a 220 plug and put the male ends with the prongs on both ends of it, plug it into like their dryer outlet, and then plug the other end of their generator, fire it up, boom, you've got 220 electricity in your house. If the power's out, you've got power. But the problem is, without that cutoff breaker, you're back feeding into the lines. So if the power company guy is out working on your line to get it fixed and he thinks everything's off, and you fire that generator up and back feed it into the line, you could really hurt somebody. So I am going to hire an electrician, get my house set up the right way to where if we have a big snowstorm, big ice storm come through, or just a tree falls on our power lines, we've got a backup generator for backup power, which I guess technically we would be off grid while we have that main breaker tripped and we're not sucking power from the power company. So let me give you a little tour of this thing, show you what it is. I know most of you, well, I know a lot of you probably aren't familiar with a big welder generator like this. So we'll do a little walk around tour. So like I said, this is a Lincoln Electric Ranger, and it's the 225 model. Pretty awesome little machine. I'll fire it up for you real quick for just a second. So as you can hear, it purrs like a kitten. I am super pumped. So I looked for one of these for a long time. They're hard to find used because most of the farmers and ranchers and guys that buy them and they never sell them. But I got pretty lucky. This came from a rental company. Came with 50 foot of leads to weld with. It also came with cutting torch. Here's the hoses for the oxygen settling cutting torch. Look at this. The torch is off of it, but I got a brand new cutting torch and the trailer setup. So that was the thing. I was really looking for a whole setup, something that was ready to go, something that I could get out here, I could buy used so I don't have to pay the new sticker price, come out here and start working the day I brought it home. Now this machine is something that I've wanted for a long time, saved up for a long time. We just went and paid cash and bought it. If I'd have went and bought the welder new is about $3,700 right now, plus say $1,000 for the trailer, a couple $100 for the leads and cutting torch, and the hoses for that are another couple $100 at minimum. So you know, we'd be looking at close to $5,000 to get this kind of setup. And I'll just be honest, guys, I searched and searched and searched for used stuff on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. Bella, did I squat down? Is it time to get some Bella loving? And I'll just be honest, guys, I paid $3,200 for this entire setup. Set up the way it is. It is used. It's got 716 hours on the hour meter, which everybody I've talked to says 700 hours is nothing for a machine like this, for something that's been out, you know, working. It was a rental, but the welder side of things, it's an awesome welder, but it's also 10,000 watt generator with a 220 plug and several plugs for 110. So even if, you know, I'm not using it, may not be using it for a backup generator at home. Woo, the lighting out here, it's amazing, isn't it? So I may not be using it for a backup generator at home all the time. That may just be one small part of its function. But on 100 acres out here, there's always projects that need to be done, and we can get out in the woods, you know, for building a deer blind or working on a fence or whatever it is. We have portable electricity. So I'm super excited, super stoked about this thing, and couldn't be happier with the deal I got. Took me a long time to find this deal. Found it on Facebook Marketplace, called the guy, and I went and picked it up at 10 o'clock last night because I was afraid someone else was gonna steal the deal out from under me. Oh, Bella, ain't that right? Ooh, your breath stinks, girl. Well, guys, sorry for the blah 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 talky video, but I'm excited to get this thing here on the farm. It's a piece of equipment I've been saving up for and wanting to buy for a very long time. Finally have one of my own, and I'm excited about it. So, the great debate for you welders out there, Lincoln or Miller? How many Lincoln guys do I have watching, and how many Miller guys do I have watching? Bella, are you a Lincoln or are you a Miller? That's the two major brands. Everybody around here has Lincoln or Miller. Oh, she's a Lincoln girl. Well, guys, thanks for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Sorry for the clickbait title. We are not going off grid. We love living with modern electricity in our house. Yes. Now, it would be cool to have some solar panels and some backup power and things like that. So working on backup power here. Maybe someday we'll get into the solar panel thing or a little wind turbine. That'd be cool. But no, we're not going off grid. We're pretty far out in the woods, but we're not going off grid. Guys, thanks for watching. Y'all have a great day. And as always, we'll see you on the next video. Ready, Bella? Boop. Boop. Say bye. Boop.